Hello, hello. Oh, I'm sweating. Hey, Sweet Cider, how are you? Hey, Total. Yeah, we digital today. We haven't done that for a while. It's about time, isn't it? Was wird das Schönes? Hey, weiß noch nicht. Ich muss jetzt gerade mal noch den Stream richtig setupen. Aber ich freestyle ein bisschen. What are we planning to draw? Not sure yet. Hey, Enemy Infinity, how are you? Right now, try not to melt. But probably some character stuff. Hey, Lockman, how are you? What's up, what's up? Well, I have quite some options here. I also have some other projects, some older projects open on the side. If nothing comes out here, we can just hop over. Du auch gerade? Nice. Das hier digital ja lange nicht mehr gemacht. Quatsch. They slay black clothing makes you feel hotter. Yeah, that's true. But only in the sun. Only in the sun. What's going on? Oh, okay. Just making sure that you guys can see. Okay. So, how was your week, folks? Was it productive? Was it unproductive? So right now I'm literally just letting my hand do the work. I'm not thinking. Hey Viggy Vodka, welcome to the stream, how are you doing? Being loving the horse practice on Instagram. The forms are looking clean, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I started to practice horses specifically last week. And I really enjoy drawing horses. And I also started a bigger piece. But the reason why I'm doing digital today is basically the heat, because it's like 30 degrees right now, and also in here it's like very, very hot. So like I don't want to sweat all over my canvas. So that's why we're going digital. It's more comfortable for me. I can lay back, you know. It's pretty nice. Started streaming on YouTube, nice. Currently practicing adding blemishes? What is it, blemishes? Blemishes on my drawing. What's that? Thank you so much for liking a couple of my drawings. I was so happy, a big star. Yeah, sure. I always support everybody. Everybody who's I see you all working hard, and I find that it's really important to also letting you guys know that I see you. So this path always feels so lonely. How to make gesture drawing speed and accurate currently in an hour so you can do 10 figures. How to make gesture drawing speed and accurate currently in 1 hour I can do 10 figures. I mean, that's okay, 10 figures. Quality over quantity in my opinion. But otherwise keep it simple. Keep it simple and try to do big strokes. I mean, a gesture isn't something that you should where you should commit too much in terms of detail. You know, so gesture is a gesture. It's not there to make a pretty drawing. In most cases. Hi, what kind of character are you drawing today? Not sure yet. Not sure yet. Right now I'm just doing automatic drawing. So I'm just trying to see if any of the stuff I'm doodling here is gonna be interesting. Yes, it is. Oh, you guys are so... I love it that you guys are so active. Yeah, the journey definitely can feel lonely. It's crazy to me sometimes. As big as you notice, my art feels so cool. I mean, I'm happy that it's motivating you. I mean, also, I'm literally just another dude, just another dude doing art on maybe the other side of the world. That's all. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe we can make him a horse. I drew so many horses. I want to make horses out of everything. Horses everywhere. Give me horses. Such beautiful creatures. Hey Quote, how are you? Yeah, Centauro. Looks like a Centauro, right? Off proportions. Sir, can you make videos how to draw own characters like as famous YouTube animators? I don't do animation, bro. Any recommendations for drawing vehicles and buildings? Any recommendation? How to Draw a book from Scott Robertson. Work through it this summer. Your homework. Hallo, Herr Schwarz und Weiß. Hallo, Frau Farbe. Was geht ab? While you vacuum cleaning, like how can you hear my voice when you vacuum cleaning? Do you have headphones on? Okay, noise cancelling headphones. Oh yeah. You sound German. I am German. What's your sound, Banjo? That ain't it. Let's do the next one. Why Germany is not good in soccer anymore? You ask the wrong person for this. I couldn't care less, to be honest. I couldn't care less. I have no clue and I have no interest. And I couldn't care less. Did I already say that I couldn't care less? I don't know. I also never cared for soccer, to be honest. Maybe one time when I was 12. And then I realized I don't care. But it's okay, hey, if you enjoy soccer, like, that's great. Like, if you have something looking forward through all these like full weeks of work and all that, I find it's extremely important. So I don't judge, like, I don't know. It's important that everybody has these type of things for themselves. Tips for learning for how to draw the hair. My hair feels stiff. I feel like we have this question every stream. Every stream somebody's asking about hair. Every tips for not stiff hair. Loosen up, my friend. Loosen up. Let it flow. Let it go. Be Elsa from Frozen, and then consider overlaps, and then consider where light hits the form, and then the form is turning, and then there's gravity, and then you have the hair. Hey, how are you? Yeah, one more hair question, I'm gonna crash out. You know what, I'll make a character all about hair now. Hi there, how are you doing? When do I know that I'm ready to start selling online? I'm migrating from software development to motion design illustration. I think you should just start, because this whole process is a very slow process. Whenever you're developing a product also, right? Let's not talk about art, right? When you try to become somebody who sells certain products that you develop yourself, it's an ongoing process. First you have to find your niche, you have to find your customers and all that. So it's kind of like that. It's not something where you are just like ready. And what you should do is you should kind of like figure out a way for you to let's say like, okay, you know what, I'm not like I'm not waiting until I'm perfectly ready. I would just try to sell whatever you produce and then do an ongoing process of just developing your skill more, you know? Of course, I could say now, yeah, your fundamentals needs to be there and it needs to be proper composition, but like, you know, it's really hard to judge also for yourself when you're in this process by yourself. So that being said, I would just try to produce stuff that you like and try to do it as long as you can until you get a reaction out of people, and there will be somebody who would be interesting. Also, if you obviously go to the certain places where you can sell it, right? That makes the most sense. It needs to be, you need to go there where you can sell it. Guys, the chat is moving too fast. Hi Sunita, how are you? character where hair is the whole armor. Oh, that sounds like a rendering hell. Can I start the designing in old-fashioned way? I mean paper and sketching because my trackpad is small. So I have an iPad. Of course, you can always start traditional. Always. I'm really liking flat illustrations. I think I'm gonna stick for it for now. What do you mean with flat? Can you elaborate what you mean with flat? By the way, how much time does it take you to complete one project? Depends on the project. It really depends on what it is. So if it's a character, it could be in a few days, depending on the complexity. Also depending on, is it a paid project where somebody asks for multiple design iterations? Is it just for me? Is it an environment? Is it a prop? Like, that all goes into that equation. But I would say for everything from a few days at least, because a good solid project always requires research and planning, and then also execution, right? So enough time for executing. The flat style people use for motion design. Okay, yeah, do that. If you can draw hair like Aris from Sinbad, you're the goat. I don't even remember how that looks. I only know Aris from Mukushu Tensei, I think is the name of the anime. What are the guidelines of drawing nose? Janosch, what drawing tablet are you using, if you mind asking? I'm using a old Wacom Intuos 3 or 4 or something. I don't even know, it's super old. What are you using? Guys, I can't really focus on drawing. You guys asking so many questions. Guidelines for noses. Can you specify the question? I don't really understand. In your earlier stream, you drew a horse without any guidelines. How did you learn to draw freehand that perfectly? Did you study anatomy of all the animals? Okay, I mean that. I don't want to. No, I didn't study all the animals, but I just studied horses that day. So that's why my brain was already ready for drawing horses. That being said, I think you should focus on basic form drawings, you know, like, so when you want to learn to draw stuff like animals, for example, and if you understand this stuff here, how to mentally simplify. Wait, let me draw it a bit bigger. So, like, if you can do this here. No, simplifying. Yeah, like considering this being a box. So also geometric. You guys don't even see this. My bad. So basically this. You know, especially when it's about quadrupeds, they all have kind of like the same build. So I would rather learn this here, you know? Like just making sure, okay, I know how to draw this. Because then all this, the extra features, they're all like, you know, there are some cultures out there who would call horses big dogs. And it's kind of funny because it's like super old, that knowledge. But they were right, because if you look at them anatomically, they're very close to dogs. So they have like a lot of stuff in common. So I would focus rather on like learning to be able to turn all this stuff here in like learn to now take this on a plane and then learn to rotate this in your head. Like that brings you much more than like studying like specific animal, how do you say, anatomy. By the way, I really loved your video about storytelling. I would definitely follow it. New subscriber. Hey Gabriel, thank you so much. We really spent a lot of time making that video. Really appreciate it. What drawing tablet are you using? An old Wacom Intuos 3, I think. 3 or 4. It's very old. What are you using? This face looks shitty. How avoid bad hair days? Bad drawing, bad hair days, or as a woman? I can't tell. Avoid humidity. I guess you have better control about your hair then. Any tips for separating the negative emotions from failing to draw thoughts? Like, yeah, I have a good analogy. Do you know the metaphor of the arrow? So, whenever you shoot an arrow and the arrow hits or does not hit the target, the arrow remains an arrow. Which means whenever you try to draw something and you fail, you are still like, you're still worthy to continue to draw, right? Nobody hates you. Like you're not unworthy. You're still important. Your art is still important. Your development is still important. Everything is important. You know, everything that you bring to this world is important. Because in humans there is something incredibly deep, which is mark making, you know. So I would say focus on you being a person who's leaving their marks in this world, you know. And also a bad drawing, because you label it as bad, is a mark in this world, you know. So. And then also stop labeling in the process. We never label our work inside of the process. Never. only when the drawing is finished, but never inside of the process. Hey HMZ, how are you? Who's a bot? Yeah, I don't care. Who's a bot? How was your week, HMZ? I appreciate you all always being here on Twitch. Everyone who's also on YouTube and also has Twitch, feel free also to follow on Twitch. But you don't need to. It's not necessary, just if you want to. Okay. Half chill, half hot. Yeah, I got you on this one. Okay, you guys don't see what I'm doing right now. I'm basically using the Liquify tool to just move my sketch a bit around, manipulate it a bit more. Just playing with the silhouette. But maybe I should go for something more concrete, because right now I'm just dambling. Okay, boop. Just pushing that a bit more. Why do we flip? What do you mean? You flip the canvas to reset the eye, to get a new eye on what are we drawing. So whenever you are in this stage, I highly recommend to stay as far out as possible. Focus on silhouette, focus on proportions, focus on obviously also the standing, the pose, the gesture. And usually I would not, like if you in like just learning this, I would try to set an archetype for yourself. Because an archetype is always better, you know, like you would say you want to make a bruiser character or an like a gladiator or a mage or whatever, like any type of character, because that gives you kind of like a visual idea for the direction and also the things you should look up reference wise, because we need them. I need some encouragement, and I have no brain cells to draw, but you're also pregnant, right? So I think you have a special status. Isn't that like, aren't you like unpredictable with your emotions right now or something? Like you should rest and chill and not do anything that exhausts you. Maybe just do some doodles. It's not just extreme low energy, I also feel immense guilt. Guilt for not drawing? Oh, pfft. Why? Yeah, I agree, HMZ. Just full page of doodles. No expectations, no nothing. But doing this kind of like relatively fast, just letting yourself like just getting stuff out before you hit any reference is just the best thing. Also, if you like me, usually doing a lot of ink drawings, like having the erasing tool is luxury. It's really luxurious. She's kind of ugly. I think I need to rework her, definitely. So while I'm doing this, everything in my head says like sharp, fast, angled, everything that I can associate with this. Trying to keep that in a loop. Also thinking about characters which I have seen. Right, let me actually save this. But I want to try something else. This is really good. I couldn't hack the eye-hand coordination on the screenless tablets. Also, is this Clip Studio Paint? No, it's Photoshop. So when I started with art, I didn't start at traditional, I started digital. Like a good friend of my brother worked at, he started working at Disney in California at that time. And he had a drawing tablet and he didn't use it and he just gifted it to me. Shout out to Jacob. And since then I'm like doing digital stuff. And that's also the reason why I started digital in the first place. I'm drawing with AutoCAD. Okay. You're a fancy one. Hey, sorry, I don't see the name. Hey, True. Welcome to stream. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Drawing upwards always feels weird. I'd rather start from the top. Okay, let's see. I feel like we can definitely make the body proportions a bit more sexier. So longer legs. Maybe even shrinking down the torso a tiny bit. Because I want to communicate this is a fast character. Somebody who's very fast. That's why the emphasis on the legs. Even the lines I'm using are meant to be fast and gestural. So obviously I want to do something simple, so it's just gonna be some sort of like sci-fi suit, I guess. Something a bit more fantasy. This is already a good base. Now thinking a bit about the concept, this is always important. You always should think about what is the archetype, of course. So we always start with the archetype. And the archetype should be clear. So is it a fast character? Is it a slow character? Is it somebody with a certain profession? Do you want the profession to come through, etc., etc.? So in my case, I'm thinking about like running fast or being very mobile. So that means long legs, like basically thinking about a sprinter, right? Somebody who's running fast, or a character that supposed to be very fast. One sec. Yeah? Okay, never mind. Dun, dun. Maybe the musicians are done now with making music. Don't know if you heard this. So of course also I want the gun to be aerodynamic, so kind of like a slim design. Makes no sense to give her some sort of like fat, slow looking gun. More like if you would design a car or a ship, something that needs to cut air. So the only thing here is like I have very top heavy stuff going on here. I could even try something like this here, some exhaust. This always very direct. Yeah, I think that's kind of okay. It's kind of funny to do this. Kind of miss this a lot. Like, I would say most of my time right now I'm drawing over homework of my mentorship students. They're all working so hard, which is so motivating, especially over summer, where majority of people are not working so much, but they are all cranking and working on their dreams. Hi, how are you? Do you do art stream every Friday? Yes, I do. Every Friday, same time. Almost same time. And also the previous art streams, they're all on the channel. If you just need something while working next time. And we have done really we had a long period of doing traditional now. But it's too hot today to sweat over paper. Being real with you, like didn't felt it today. I'm good. Yeah, it's just warm and Friday evening. I have to work tomorrow, but that's fine. How about you? Oh, it's warm. Okay, just here, making sure that whenever you do this kind of like chaos to control approach, which isn't kind of like the best approach for beginners, but if you come to a point where you can kind of like do that, highly recommend also looking at negative spaces, positive spaces, overall silhouette. Do we have a good design silhouette, active, passive side? This readability is very important. And also that these elements, they're kind of like, they're kind of clear. That is definitely important. So that I know what is a hand, that I know what is an arm, that I know what, like, what is the person wearing, kind of. Because otherwise your life will be tough in the next stage. I feel that the wind is pretty nice over here, but it's too hot for no reason. Yesterday was worse. Oh my god. Yeah, like... Same here. We have 30 degrees today. But I think it's gonna be... colder tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to a good sleep. So my only point of worry right now is the gun, because I'm not a real gun designer, or I mean that's kind of like redundant to say. I would say I haven't designed guns for a while. But the good thing about guns, they all have certain archetypes. So if you give them a trigger, if you give them a handle, if you give them some sort of barrel, something that communicates that, that's half of the rent. But designer rear guns to take that job. I don't know if the world really needs more design guns, to be honest. I'm not really sure if that's really necessary. I know that you have this morbid fantasy. So you have another joke to crack. Crazy lady. Jesus, every time I start streaming my phone is going crazy and I don't know why. Don't know why. Okay, let's do this one here. So right now I'm just looking at some references, trying to make my weird brain going. Hey Johnny, how are you? We're drawing a character today. We are drawing a character today. Okay. Alrighty, so what is my resolution size? Very important step. 6000 by 6000 pixels. That's good enough. It's gonna be a fast character, so some sort of sci-fi character, because I need to practice that. Not very experienced so much in sci-fi stuff. Choo choo choo. And now we are going in. So I'm basically taking a different brush now. I'm trying to work a bit cleaner. What brush do you use? This is just a normal hard round brush. Yeah. Bubblegum Crisis, you might like those suits. Bubblegum Crisis. The thing is, if I look at this, I'll probably just be super influenced by this now. But I will write it down. We'll write it down. I'm gonna look it up. So I always start with the face, actually. In most cases, because I feel like the face is kind of like says a lot about the character, and it's also kind of like the first place people are looking. So I really need to like the face. I think the backside eye there we won't see. Just drawing it in for my brain. That eye won't be visible. Sorry. Are you using a mouse? No, but I can also use the mouse if you want to. I sometimes do that. How do you define turning angle of the eye so well? It's because I draw faces every day for years. And you kind of like the more it's basically that, you know. It's when you throw a basketball every day for years, like stuff just gets so automatic. You know where to throw the ball, so it will still get in, you know, if that makes sense. So. Mileage, tons of fuck-ups get you somewhere. Yeah, that's true. 1000%. Like every time you change something and you do it again and again, it's just the mileage that you build up, you know. Whenever I try to draw a triangle, I start to doubting the drawing. Just continue. Don't doubt it. Just continue. What I try to do, I try to respect my sketch, so kind of like keeping in the loose energy of the gesture inside. This is also something I had to learn the hard way because I was always changing this stuff. But also at the same time, we want to be flexible in our idea, where we say like, okay, there's still room for change, because that's just necessary. We can't expect that the first mark we ever do is kind of like perfect. It's also kind of boring, in my opinion. So I'm still having no reference, still try to follow my intuition here. The moment where I can't walk furthermore with my idea and I hit kind of like a wall, I'm gonna introduce references. The problem is with sci-fi, you have to kind of like look for relatively specific stuff. Also in terms of style, you know, like if there are certain things that you want to try, I personally want to work more on stylization for me, because I always try to, or I was always working relatively realistic. So that being said, that's it for me today. Trying to basically simplify stuff. You gotta get the bad stuff out. How you learn? Yeah, that's true. Make fun of Janos every day and you'll become a comedian in a year. Probably. But I'm also easy target, you know that. Very easy target. Actually save this, yeah. I'm a new artist, literally a newbie. And the worst part is that I learned digital art using a mouse. Like damn, my hands just won't stop shaking. Okay. Well, like using the mouse is kind of like torture. Instructions unclear, starts making fun of Janos to draw better eyes. Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good plan. Hey Chris, what's up? Make fun of Janusz, level up the areas in your life, yeah. Hello Janusz, reporting for lurking. Hey what's up, how are you? How's it going? Sleeping like usual, purple cried eyes. Yeah, I mean, don't stress yourself too much with it. It's also fun. It should be fun, you know. Like, stressing is okay if it's normal because it's important for you, you know. Then that is okay. But the moment when you're really stressing, you should really reconsider what you're doing. Like, we don't want to stress out so much. Hey Hot Pen, thank you for the sub. And welcome to stream. You and your wild fantasies. Leave my cheeks alone, please. You mean self-devour and hurting yourself? Well, I hope not. I hope not. Hey, Simply United Korea, how are you? 안녕하세요. 잘 지내세요? What's up? How's it going? Are you on 2 channels right now? What do you mean with 2 channels? I'm also streaming on Twitch at the same time. And I'm having YouTube on portrait and normal mode. Hi from India, hi from Germany. Janosch was secretly Korean. Yes, I am. When I was a kid, I fell into a big pot of kimchi. You know, like Obelix with the magic drink. Same for me. It almost feels like you're sculpting the form with your brush. Does it help to reference things or just go with the flow? What do you mean with reference things? But to answer your question, yes, I try to sculpt in form, because the biggest problem whenever you use lines in stuff like character design or whatever type of like drawing it is, there's always a problem of making the one planar. It's very, very easy to do, you know, if I don't give thickness to something like here, if I don't say how thick a part is or an object is, I run into the problem that I create the one planar. And the one planar is basically not working in my favors. I always want to communicate to people that this is 3-dimensional what I'm showing them. Are you doing any references? Not right now. Or do you mean if I model for references? Neither way. Yes, on one channel I have 1,000 viewers, on the other one I have 20. Like drawing with a reference picture, not yet, no. I try to not use a reference as long as I can, to keep my idea as pure as I can. And then the moment I feel like, okay, I'm stuck, I can't explain, I don't know, the helmet, I can't explain the torso, I can't explain the weapon, I get a reference. In my store, I have 27 main characters. I have to design them all. In your story? Ah, okay. Yeah, nice. I love that. I want to see them all. 27 characters. That's quite a few. But if you already have them also, you have like half of the rent, you know? Half of the rent you already paid by figuring that out. Oh, by the way, I have to go. It was nice chatting with you, and thanks for the advice earlier. You're welcome, Hotpan. Thanks for the sub. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you soon again. I only do wall painting. How I start portraits? Any tip? Portraits? Any tip on portraits? I would say try not to make your portraits. Try to actually avoid portraits from the front. No? Try not to do this. Like try not to do this too much. Always, even if you have this, and let's say this is on, like you have this face that you want to portray and it's on this plane, just rotate it a tiny bit, a slightly bit, you know, just a little bit. Because then this will automatically be so much more interesting. Because then we see the side plane of the portrait, and that gives 3-dimensionality. And then you can perspective and angle everything out. Any tips on storytelling? Can Can you be a bit more specific in terms of your question? What exactly do you need a tip on? Like, what do you need help with? How to get better with storytelling, how to practice storytelling. Because there I have multiple answers for you. And also, are we talking about storytelling in a character? Are we talking about storytelling in general? Howdy from London. Oh my, oh dear. How are you? I'm glad you made it. I'm happy that you're here. How's the weather in London? Starting with grid or freehand. If you can grid it, I mean, depending on, are we talking about you are copying a face from a photo for money? Then probably grid is the best thing, because it's nothing for practice, right? It's for money. But if we're talking about learning, then you should freehand. Because money is money. I'm going to plot driven and story driven stories. So like my story is gonna be super long. Okay. So I would say when it comes to storytelling, the important part is always that we have a good setup. So do I as a viewer understand what's going on in your story? So where are we? Who is the main character? Very important. Often people really underestimate the amount of effort they should spend into a main character. And also, what is the goal of the main character? There should be a main character with a goal. I'm always referencing One Piece because it's such a great example. One Piece is there for over 20 years and it's literally a pirate story. Oda decided to contextualize the pirate story in so many different genres, so many like cross dimensions. But right from the first episode, we know the goal of Luffy, the main character, is to become Pirate King and to find the One Piece. And that's his main goal over 20 years of story. And in between all the problems he has, everything he's encountering is basically makes the story, but we still know that the main story is him trying to achieve that. Speed up, man, color it. I'm sweating at the desk a little. Oh, yeah, same here, same here. You want some color? You know, usually I would wait for this quite some time. Like here, you can have some sort of like orange glass face mask. I think I want to go for something like this here. There you have some color, just for you. And here also gonna add a bit of tone, just for you. I have lots of other characters with similar goals. I mean, that's fine, but I think there should be a clear distinction between all of them, you know? That is definitely important. That there is something that distinguish them from each other. Hey Draftman, welcome to the stream and thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Can you show the portrait? What portrait? What are you talking about? So see what you've done to me. Now I already started like playing around here. It's not good. So I need to finish the lines. I always preach that to my students. How do I look as their teacher? Like that's not good. Where does your OC get their weapon from? What do you mean with OC? Original character? I don't know. Where she get it from? Maybe she's some sort of like military prospect. Where does the character you're drawing get their weapon from? Haven't thought about it. Like the character, he has no real backstory right now. If you want to come up with some, feel free to do so. Makes my life easier. This is just it's just freestyling. It's my birthday. Oh, happy birthday. You know what I'm saying. Buy a new subscriber, teacher face blue smiling, blue smiling. Ah yeah, okay. Happy getting older, good. Yeah. That's also a good way of saying it. Pew 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 pew. Lexi, okay. Lexi. Custom made weapon for her. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's supposed to be, yes. Supposed to be. Haven't spent much time in putting any detail in here. Meatball bullets. It shoots out beef patties. Slim beef patties. Like this. Wait. Smaller. beef patties. So for everyone who's not trolling and wants to get better with this, or is also doing this approach here, get your lines in, right? Line work is kind of like still the purest form of communicating anything, and it's such an important skill to develop. It's very painful, tedious, but it is a super powerful skill. And also goes the same ways for digital and traditional, right? If you can develop something traditional, you can also do that digital. And I think also vice versa. But from my experience, the better I always got with traditional, the better I also got with digital. So if you're learning, do not neglect your traditional skill. Spend some time also on it. Absolutely necessary. Are you a full-time artist or working professional? Yes, I'm a working professional since 2017. Do you have like a Wacom Cintiq or to do this? I have a Wacom tablet but I don't look at my hand because I'm using a keyboard. My name is Lexi. Nice. Good name. Janosch, did you... Oh, sorry. Janosch, did you do a lot of construction in your first few years of drawing, or did you draw straight away like Kim Young-ji does? I wouldn't even... So in my first years... so first of all, I would never compare any of my stuff with him because he's just a different specimen. And of course, also like the Kim Young-ji drawings or the Fish Islands drawings or the drawings from imagination that I do these days, that took me quite some time and a lot of painful hours to develop and to go in that direction because I come from a traditional, not from a traditional, a professional background of doing concept art. So I don't have a traditional training. I've done a lot of traditional drawing when I developed my skill in the first years, but it was more about a lot of constructions of perspective, drawing houses, perspective grids, try to draw steam trains, planes, all that stuff. Working through the How to Draw book by Scott Robertson, then working through the How to Render book by Scott Robertson, then studying industrial design, we would have to draw products. So I would constantly try to sharpen my skill there. And the whole, like, I discovered Kim Young-ji very late, I think in 2018 or 19. So he was always there, but like, I think for me the biggest turnaround was when I saw him live for the first time in Portugal in 2022, I think. Kind of like this. I think if you approach learning to draw in that sense, it is good, but it also is going to be very painful in the beginning. Because if you try to draw like him, you have to, like, he has a big visual library, you know, like he drew in a specific way for years, for many years. So that being said, is that something when you start usually you don't have a big library of visuals that you just also straight up can bring down on paper. So I need to drink something. Yes, we just like to make fun in chat. Respect, yeah, okay. Do you prefer this way, or would you invest in display, screen, Cintiq in the future? Prefer drawing like this? So I have a XP pen here, and I really like it. And I would use it if it wouldn't take so much space away on my table, and I only have the table here. So I like it for lines actually. But the thing for me is I learned to work in this way, and I worked professionally for many years. So I spent like, I don't know how much hours on painting and drawing in Photoshop in that way. So chat is constantly moving, yeah. How will you go about make one line's confidence even they are wobbly? Line confidence is something that just comes through drawing a lot and continues, and also learning how to control distance of your pen to the surface. Hello, do you have any advice on how to build enough confidence to create illustration featuring characters? I struggle to draw them even though I'm confident in my understanding of anatomy and handling forms. Hey Prejam, thank you for the Twitch. Thank you for the Twitch follow. Appreciate it. Any advice on how to build enough confidence to create illustrations? Well, the confidence comes over time. The important part is that you have or develop a structured process where you're able to figure out how to build the illustration, you know, because the problem is if you're building an illustration just out of nothing and then you try to organize the chaos that you started, you're gonna have a really tough time, and it also will not be good for your confidence. So it's good to write down what it is that you want to illustrate and then keeping it simple, because what I see very often also for the people who come in for feedback sessions, they come in and they say like, you know what, I want to do a fantasy illustration and I want to do that, and I jump right into it. That's awesome, but if you don't know how to compose, if you don't know how to lay out, if you don't know how to handle elements, and then we're just talking about drawing, right? Then we go into the painting mode and you don't know how to paint basic stuff like a cylinder, you don't know how about core shadow and all that, and they jump into painting, it's just pure chaos and it kills your confidence, and it will just kill also your energy at over time. So I think that's important to slowly take everything step by step. Yeah, I don't know if Janusz. Hey, what does that mean? Of course I can help with kawaii stuff. Kawaii. Yeah, write down notes about process, making sure like that you completely know what it is that you want to create, and try to be disciplined in that. No. because that will kill your confidence. Stop trolling. I don't believe you a single word. I think it's gonna rain. I feel like, oh yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain. Oh yeah, I can hear the rumbling. I can hear the rumbling. You guys had a storm yesterday? Okay. Then it's gonna be to here today. It always comes over from France. Oh fuck. Spain or Argentina? You mean for World Cup? I couldn't care less. I want them both to win. I want them to dance it out. Somebody is coming with a subwoofer and then like, guys, we should stop all the wars and all the fights and all the competitions. Let's have a dance off. And then somebody plays Boogie Wonderland. And then they're all dancing. Or they're gonna have some like bloody MMA fight, bare knuckle, and last man standing wins. I cheer for the boy. I cheer for the person who's selling sausages at the stadium. that they sell a lot. Hey Collins, how are you? Didn't know you were on Twitch. What's up? But yeah, dance-off would be funny. You know, you guys seen American Pie? The one with where Stifler had a dance-off in the club? Like something like this, you know? Where like somebody comes in where you didn't expect it and then he has all the moves. What kind of project or illustration are you working on? This is just random streaming doodle. This is kind of like, how you say? It is the how you say? It's the result by me not wanting to sweat over my paper today, because it's so extremely hot, and I knew like the only thing that I want to do is like this here, because here I can literally do this without thinking. Like for me, this is mentally very easy. So it's much more chill than doing traditional. What? Do you guys hear that? That was quite some sound. Dramatic underline of what I'm saying. Da, 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 da. You've been Thunderstruck. Yeah. Have you ever watched the new anime version of Ghost in the Shell? I don't really know. I watched the old one for so many times, but I don't know if I watched the newer version of it. You know what I read 2 days ago? I read the manga one-shot Look Back. And I really want to watch the movie because like I just read it for research purposes and it was very late. But I was really surprised about that manga, so I really want to, because I know there's an animated movie, So I really want to watch that. The movie is a masterpiece for me. Okay. Yeah, it's like the story was crazy. Like it was. I think it was kind of like 1 p.m. and I was in bed and I was like really passing through the story very fast and I was like, what the fuck? Did that just really happen? So what are you all doing on a weekend? Any plans? Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. I mean, awesome, I would say. Great. Good choice. Why not? Texture. It's good if you have 1000 brushes, which are called texture. Fabric. No, that's not the one I want. Hey, straight night Skylife, how are you? Taking my toddler to see farm animals. Oh, that's cute. This is so cute. You're a good parent. Ah. That's a problem if you kind of like do something, because now is the moment where I would have to grab some references to really figure out internal details and information. So I'm basically freestyling. Oops, so I just collapsed this. Fuck. How do I undo this? Oh yeah, okay. It's funny because there are people who like painting and rendering characters, and there are people they hate it. I know both of them, and I actually really like it. Like, this is something that I could do really forever. Put me into a room, give me some food and a bit of money, and I sit there and I paint you all the characters you give me. It's just so much fun. So satisfying. So satisfying. You're the lazy one. Sorry. You're probably the one who likes painting, aren't you? But I prefer to draw the character. Yeah, okay. I like both. I like both. But also, like, it took me quite some time to get to a point of likability, I want to say. It's good for falling asleep. Thunderstorm. It's good for falling asleep. So this is something I wouldn't advise. Wow. Okay, chat is moving. When rendering, do we have to keep in mind the color of the light, and else is she being lit by white light? So there is often, so generally, yes, of course. You always have to keep in the color of the light if the light has a color. And also if your white is just white, if your light is just white, keep that in mind as well, absolutely. But especially when you do this here, when you do rendering in Photoshop, I think the best approach is more thinking about the local color and halfway the black. So what is your material's local color and what is halfway the black, the darkness of that material. That helps you much more to figure out what is the shadow side and focusing mostly on the shadows while rendering, because unless your object or character is high key, you have a lot of shadows in the rendering. And I would try to be very subtle with any light that you add. For light, only go for light direction. When you have something reflective, like metal or something that has reflectivity, also a big mistake often made, especially in character designs, is, and excuse my language, cluster fucking the character with reflectivity everywhere. Technically, when you have light, light travels, means if the character get hit by light on the top, it won't get the same amount of light at the bottom. And this is also something that we need to control, and that needs to be sensitized in the process of making that. So that's why it's always important to keep direction of light and always start focusing on the shadows first, unless it's like high key. And then, and that being said, make sure the big 7 are in there, okay? Core shadow, terminator, ambient occlusion shadow, cast shadow, bounce light, highlight, and basically a local tone. I hope that answers your question. Do you usually listen to this type of house music subgenre while creating, working, or just enjoy you torturing yourself? Amazing. I usually listen to whatever, to be honest. This is, by the way, this is like license-free music, so stream music. Technically, I wouldn't listen to that necessarily 100%. So you maybe understand why we're listening to it. But I am also a person, I can work in complete silence, and I can also work in the opposite. What are you listening to? Any advice for dealing with ambient occlusion or like when you put rim lighting? Are we talking about this here, like character designing, or generally speaking? For character design, my tip is think about ambient occlusion, and that's also something that I like to do. Is I like to think about ambient occlusion shadows in my line work. So this here, for example, right? This is fully black right now, and I added this in my line stage. So that being said, I keep that in the back of my head while continue my work. And if I want to fully illustrate it, right? If I want to fully paint it, I will also eventually paint out the lines depending on the outcome of the style that I want to achieve. So I try to blacken out my ambient occlusions with black while I do my line work. And then at the end, I decide how much I keep it in. Basically, so if I keep in the lines for style choice, I keep that in as well. But of course, I keep in mind it's a shape. So it needs to be there. But I also don't want to overdo this. I want to be very gentle with this. Because we need ambient occlusion shadows. They're absolutely important. The problem with characters is they are often case lit from multiple areas. So these typical ambient occlusion shadows in a room, for example, they are not really appearing on a character because the character is, again, is very lit from all sides. I hope that helps. So what I'm doing right now, by the way, something that I wouldn't usually do, is just going kind of like in a mode where I start to render a little bit the stuff in here. I would also call this here more of an elaborated thumbnail, like a thumbnail sketch, more or less. But there's still like a lot of stuff are not figured out. You know, like what is really the suit, what is the surface of the suit. there's like a lot of information just missing. So yeah, I would not usually do this here, but I'm just doing it because we're streaming and I can't stay in here forever today. So I kind of like wanted to have it a little bit visually appealing to you guys. It does things. I usually don't think about line weight in that way. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. Are you sort of autopilot mode right now? Yes, I am. Like I've done this many times before. Like I've done this for 4 years. I mean, to be fair, I also would say like I've done this more in environments, but at some point it's not a big difference anymore. It's all kind of the same. It has its nuances here and there. So for example, here's one important step. We don't have a good value read right now, because from far away, everything is kind of like very close to each other when we look at the local values. So what we definitely need to do is we need to figure out some sort of like room to have like, and the one thing is here, like we have a very good read with the relatively light and bright face shield thing, which is good. But the suit in general is a bit too dark. It's a bit too close value-wise, right? So showing this here, like right now, this is kind of like a 20 in a medium value, or like, let's say a 30, and this is kind of like a 40. So either way, one thing has to go darker or brighter. So I obviously go for the suit and I make the suit a tiny bit brighter, just a bit. Just pushing it so we basically stretch the value separation more. By the way, if any one of you are interested in hopping into my mentorship program, we do have spots open again. So if any of you want to learn this summer, feel free to check out my website. There's a link below. If you want to build a portfolio or whatever, if you want to improve your basic skills. We are watching an AI hollow. No, I'm a human. He's a bot. Yeah. But yeah, like what I'm doing here is kind of like something that we would call an easy fast fix, or kind of like in something to make something super simple kind of look good for a client. You know, like adding a bit of shininess here, a bit of color here, even though there's nothing inside. Oh, I forgot the gradient on this one. Oh yeah, I did. Actually forgot that. First of all, just build data centers first. Oh man, I have a fly in my room and the flies annoys me for the whole day. Like when I was drawing on paper, it was flying in my eye. Now it's at my leg, tingling me. Do just say the chill thing about sci-fi is if everything is like super ergonomic and clean, you can render it like super easy because everything is like relatively soft, since it's like so artificial. That's definitely a big plus for sci-fi. But also whenever you render really slow, like render everything very slow in. Hey Eric, how are you? Oh yeah, tried to convince not bot flaming. Checked out the mentorship price and I thought I saw 300,999. No, it's for the basic one, it's 399. There's also a small one, a small mentee for 199. But what you get for is I would say it's more worth than this. Because you basically get like Monday to Saturday, you basically can get feedback, you get instructions. It's basically private teaching. I should actually raise up the price, to be honest. Because what I spent in effort for it is actually, yeah. But then there comes the always a question, like I also want people to be able to afford it, like it's like always this thing. Don't want to be this like, that's why I have different tiers also. But if I think about it, I'm basically available 6 days a week. Always communicating, always giving feedback, making sure that everybody knows what they're doing. It's a full-time job. But I like it. I love it. Is the mentorship both digital and traditional? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All you need to do is you need to be able to scan or make a photo of your homework, so we can talk about it in the call, or we can talk about it in general, that I can see the work, so to speak. But I have traditional painters also. People who do only traditional. I have people who want to go into illustrations, concept, comic book art, the full spectrum. Hey, don't say that. The mentorship is not giving you emotional damage. Yeah, because you have to leave and you want to stay, right? I felt like a dumbass. This is just because I overload you with information. That's the only reason. because my job is to make you better. And I take this very serious. Very serious. Serious. Interesting. She got trauma. No, she didn't. Oh, yeah. But she was working very hard, that I can say. She gave it all. I think you're making the people afraid of it. Hey, Simply Korea, welcome back. We were just waiting for you. I think I need a reference for this thingy here. Not really sure how to render the form in the best case. To simplify it. Oh. Der liegt mit Stockholm Syndrome. What are you talking? That make me sound horrible. Is the mentorship like a goal-oriented, or is it more like fundamental course? It's goal-oriented. It's basically one-on-one, personalized for your goal. So whatever is your status quo, whatever are your weaknesses, whatever your goal is. Ooh, that kind of looks nice. Ooh, I like that. Whatever is your goal, you know, and whatever, because I'm testing basically your skills, you know, so I'm testing your abilities because I need to, and then we are working towards like how to achieve that. Oh, that looks kind of flashy. I like that. So let's say your goal is to make like a portfolio for a character design position, and you have no clues how to make build up a character, for example, or you wanna do fantasy illustrations, but you have no clue of painting. We go through everything, right, step by step, from painting basics to building a solid body of work. It's gonna have an open ending. Okay. Sounds very Korean drama to me. If everybody is gonna die. Always when you think like nothing's gonna happen, like they're gonna kill like basically all the important characters. That's very, very Casey drama. Da 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 da. So usually here I would do a second run of cleanup stage. So I would actually draw over the whole lines again to clean everything up. But since we streaming, I'm just gonna duplicate this here to keep it as a backup. Always keep your backups. And I'm just gonna go in here and clean this a little bit. Making sure it's not looking that messy. Because if you have once the clean lines, then it's really, yeah, it's really, that's the hardest part. So also here, like I usually would redo the face multiple times. Everything is kind of like very messy. It's funny, whenever you try to draw a horse from imagination, everything in your life becomes a piece of cake. I mean, no, I'm more over dramatic. But yeah, drawing a lot from imagination is definitely makes stuff like this way easier. Because you can think linear. Oh, man, I need to design this better here. This looks so boring. Maybe just do it like this. Just aerodynamic. How does she breathe? Because no offense at all, but I don't see any vents. It is sci-fi, okay? She doesn't need any vents. Maybe she's from another planet. Are you German or what? Always these overcorrect people. Oh my god. I'm just joking around. Don't take it as an offense. It was just a joke. I know I have to say it because sometimes people don't get my jokes. But that's my problem, not yours. She breathes through her... Okay. If you say so. Do you have experience with this? Can you elaborate on your experience? Oh, this flies back. Get off me. Yeah, with her skin. I love how you guys will go all out on this. folks, how long do we gonna stream? Because at some point I need to go home. And I'm also a bit hungry. Oh no, no, I'm not home. I'm in my studio. I'm in my studio working all day. Every day. All day, every day. Life of being your own boss. This is how it goes. You gotta work 24/7. Hä? Can't erase this line, why? Ah, no. Where's my studio? It's kind of like 15-20 minutes away from my home. You can actually see everything about it on my vlog channel. I started vlogging when I moved in here. Hi Kiloyan Manolov. Welcome to the stream, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Do local students get access to the studio? That would be cool. I had students over here already because for the mentorship students in Berlin, sometimes we do the mentorship call on site, so in person. But not all the time, just certain occasions. But it's not like they get like all-time access. Yeah, like I think that would drive me crazy. Loving my students, but just also need to do a lot of other work. Just have a space for design and creating. I mean, I guess it would be cool for them, I understand, but like I would say the space is not big enough. And I moved in here, so I have my peace while working. So I think that wouldn't work for me. But I get what you're saying. Maybe in the future. If some of you get my students and I teach more for more years, maybe one day. But I think then I would have to teach way more students to just be able to fund that. I mean, just by the teaching aspect. Yeah, you just want to annoy the shit out of me. That's what you want. No. I know what you mean. Hey, this fly is killing me. Stop hitting my head. Kind of like thinking what I can add to make this look a bit cool. Maybe I find a cool texture. Wait. Let me... What do you guys think so far? How this thing is looking? Think it's okay? For freestyling for roughly 2 hours. Yeah, the magenta looks nice, right? Is this a character in your comic? No, but it's actually a really good idea. That's actually a really good idea. Wait, I want to try something. Just want to see how this looks with a bit of a background here. Okay. Okay, let me see if I find a cool texture. Do you guys want me to do digital streams more often? I can throw in here some from time to time. Like I said, it's pretty chill for me. Oh yeah, I could try to use this texture here. This is always a lot of cool noise. I think I want it on the pants. Hey, Mensuya, what is this? This is just a character we just made on stream here. What I would name this character? Don't know. Yeah, this texture is like cheating. Wait, image adjust, match color, layer 10. Let's see what's gonna happen. Layer 10, layer 10. There you go. That ain't it. Let's try some layer modes here. I don't know why, but it's not my taste. Okay. Processed. thinking what could be a nice way. Maybe colorizing this. I want this juice here. Is it far away from this color? No, it's kind of also pushes the contrast quite a bit. Maybe a bit more blue. Let me try this to Pam, Control I. Let me try to bring it back a bit. You like how it looks? Yeah, I'm just unsure. But that's always a problem if you do kind of like this, like a freestyling designing without a proper outline, a proper keywords archetype, just a general direction. Because at some point you have to make a decision on the design. You have to think about, okay, who's the character? What's the reason for the character? What is the character doing? Does the character have a profession, and so on and so on? So these are the things we need to answer before we actually go into designing, because then we run into like, okay, what are we doing with it, right? And that's why it's always good, like whenever you try this for the first time, keep it simple and do something that is easy, like fisherman, gladiator, barbarian, bruiser, magician, and all that. Like keep it simple, 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 simple. I'm just gonna keep that in here just for, let's see, like, is it killing my values? Just have to make sure that it's not killing my values. It's not getting too bright, too far away from my local color. So I'm basically moving this slider here. Can also push the contrast a little bit. Don't want this too glossy at the same time. Let's see. And now it's, you know what I can try? I can try to take this here, these dark spots, to give it kind of like a purpose, really. And maybe like this is some sort of like organic moving texture. And we are trying to bring back a little bit of the magenta here. Really like an alien type of suit, almost. Maybe we could even try to different color, maybe. Maybe some sub color, since I'm known for being Mr. Black and White. So trying to push the values a bit more. Maybe like this kind of like blue is kind of sweet. I mean, at the end it's concept, so... My problem is right now that I start to get really into the groove, so I don't want to stop anymore. But this isn't good. Okay, just 10 more minutes, okay? 10 more minutes and then we are ending. That is already streaming way too long today. Hey Essa, thank you. Thank you. I feel like that's all I'm doing in my life. Drawing. Drawing and stumbling through the time. And welcome to the stream, by the way. Are we still actually making her short meatballs? I'm not sure if that comes across if I'm gonna paint this thing as a meatball. Will you check my first kawaii character later? Sure. Oh god, erase it. I thought you were serious about meatballs for the second here. I need to go, but I will subscribe and come back later. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for the sub. How long do you think this will take? What do you mean? To finish? I mean, depends really on what the look is that I want. If I want to paint it like my my previous characters, then I mean, like fully render it, like I don't know, 2-3 days maybe. It really depends on the level of quality that you want to have on it. But if you do some sort of like line work style and you keep everything relatively efficient rendered, then not long, a few more hours. It's more like a cleanup process and more like also more like deciding like, okay, what's actually this character? Like, who is this character? No. Because that is the important question. That is the important question. But for me, not long. Just a few hours. So usually on the job, you need to be able to come up with character concepts, like elaborated thumbnails, at least 3 to 5 in a day, depending on the complexity also. On a normal work day. And then yeah, on finishing, I mean, that also just depends on you and also on your seniority in a way. But if you know what you're doing, like, this is really like a autopilot process. Like, the design is always like the hardest part. But you see here, like, I have to do a lot of cleanup because it's so freestyling process here. I would never advise doing that because, like, especially if you're a beginner, then this is gonna be torture. To torture. Any summer vacation plans? Not yet. How about you? I'm probably gonna work all summer because I'm gonna be busy in autumn and December as well. How about you? Like, you probably can't travel that long, right? Anymore? Or how long can you travel actually? I'm going to my honeymoon reply August, taking a plane. Nice. Enjoy that. Enjoy your time. That's very good. That is very good. Okay, now I'll start to render this too much. I really need to stop, otherwise I can't go home anymore. I can't, it's like I'm in my spectrum. I just can't stop. Even the music stops. See, even the music said you should go home. There's just one last thing I want to do. I want to see how it looks. I'm gonna add a little rim light. Just checking if that's gonna be cool or not. Ten-hour stream just started. Yeah. I mean, it's not that I've didn't done that in the past. I think the longest I streamed was 8 hours or something. 8 or 9 hours. But yeah. No. More like yeah, I don't know. It's like, again, it feels like it's all I'm doing. I just want to have something cool here for you guys at the end of the stream, that you all are like, oh, nice, that looks cool. We all witnessed it. It was actually, we actually enjoyed to stay there. You have to go. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye. Thanks for staying. You sound like a flight attendant. I am a flight attendant. Thank you for choosing Air Janosch for your today's stream. We highly appreciate you flying with us, and have a good day. Priest. This priest thing is never gonna let me go. Oh, you guys. You guys. Okay, should I stroke this again? Is the question. I haven't spent any time on the feet. They look horrible, but let's ignore that. Folks, that was really fun. That was really fun today. I want to say I really missed it. Really missed doing this type of stuff here. Oh, I forgot about something. Yeah, it was a cool stream. I like it. I like it. I like finally some. Oh, I just have a really good idea for the boots. Damn it. That's now. Oh. Damn it. Let me just quickly try something. Because we're talking constantly about meat. What if the inside of these boots are kind of like flesh tone? Also here. Oh, now it flies on my nose. It's gonna end with a finished piece. Yeah. Basically you're right. Okay, I have to go. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for staying so long. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Any more of you want to get into the mentorship, please make sure to fill out the intro chat before so we can figure out what are your problems. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the stream. See you next week on Friday, same time, same game. I bless you all. Appreciate here. In nomine Patre. All right, no, I'm not doing that. So have a good one. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.